So in terms of critical tools for upsell and cross-sell, definitely no surprise for me. The most important to me is your actual data from your customers. And that is just obviously what's going to power your upsell and cross-sell campaigns. So going back to kind of the first step in terms of understanding your customer, that's going through the historical behavior of your customers and understanding, important metrics like, what was the time to first purchase? If you're able to kind of measure that customer journey, how long did folks take to make their second purchase after their first one? What's kind of the normal retention of our customers? Do they stick around for 30 days or do we see a big drop off after 60 days? All those kind of really kind of foundational questions can only be answered by going through your customer behavior data. So that's things like visiting your website, your app, your physical locations, their purchase history, how much they're purchasing, what types of products they are purchasing. All of that should be captured within a data warehouse, ideally. I like to think of the quote like, if whatever gets measured matters. So if you don't have it recorded in your data warehouse, you cannot use it to understand your customer or to structure your campaigns to increase or decrease their behaviors from your customers. So number one, like most critical tools is kind of your data warehouse and capturing your customer behavior. And then number two is, once you have a good understanding of your customers and you want to like leverage a kind of an experimentation framework. So you have a good theory of who your customers are in terms of customer personas. You have a good idea of how you think you can move. Maybe you have a customer persona that's, very loyal, but kind of low value customer. How do you move them upsell or cross-sell to more still loyal, but obviously higher value customers? So you have to think of a way of enabling that experimentation framework and that's super important to be able to measure and validate the impact that your campaigns are going to have. So an experimentation kind of framework can really starts from your data warehouse in terms of segmenting your customers and saying, these ones are going to be part of your experiment. These ones are not going to be part of your experiment, and defining that group of customers. Like I said, defining that loyal but low value customers. You might define it as something like, they've been around with us for a year now and they average one purchase a month, but their total, lifetime value is only, maybe it's like $20 a year. And you want to move it up to $50 a year, whatever your kind of threshold is. So that's where a tool like GrowthLoop can work really well, where it sits on top of your data warehouse and can help marketers and also data folks as well to connect to those customer behavior tables in your data warehouse and be able to define those audiences that you are particularly interested in and enable kind of that experimentation framework where you say, okay, I've defined this audience of loyal, low value users, and in order to enable an experimentation framework, I'm going to actively message or interact with 80% of them, and 20% of them are going to be this kind of control group. I'm not going to message them just to see how they interact without any kind of intervention. And then the third tool is actually conducting the experiment, actually engaging with your customers. And so that's up to you, obviously, as a marketer, hopefully understanding your customer and how they kind of prefer to be communicated to, interacted with. And so that could be, there's a whole gamut of tools that range from email to SMS. If you're a kind of mobile platform, you can do in-app messaging. And then you have like physical real world efforts, which can be things like direct mail, out of home, billboard ads. So you have a wide range of kind of tools at your disposal in that sense, but still being really methodical in terms of saying who you will target and who you'll not target really lends itself well to the final tool, which is evaluating your experiment. And for that, you need the results. You need to record the results. And it's kind of a full circle where you need to understand after the campaign has been run, do you have visibility into the purchasing behavior of those customers, or if they've registered for new products or enabled like a particular premium offering on their account. That all needs to be recorded in order for you to be able to summarize and record the results of your campaign. And so again, typically, you want to capture that in your data warehouse. And you want to have some kind of tool that's able to say, okay, these customers were part of this campaign. And now I can measure the metrics where you have like primary metric that we spoke about and those secondary metrics that will also be important to the business. And it's great if you can have that in kind of like a dashboard or a spreadsheet where it's very, very shareable and digestible for you and across other business users as well. And so that can mean anything from, it could be as basic as an Excel spreadsheet, or it could be something more, I guess, like capable, like a kind of business intelligence kind of dashboarding tool. And then within GrowthLoop, we do have the capability to incorporate those transactions, those purchases activity, and you're able to define your kind of key metrics that you're tracking. And you are able to track the impact of that experiment, again, because GrowthLoop is sitting on top of that data warehouse. So a data warehouse is definitely the foundation. Think of your marketing campaigns as a house. You can't do much without your foundation of data. But then with the power of GrowthLoop is you're able to kind of keep in touch with that single source of truth of your customer activity. And then you're able to leverage the tools that you as a marketer are comfortable with, whether it's emails or SMS or direct mail, and then be able to kind of go back and summarize the results of your campaign as well.